Most people think that universal basic income is $1,000 a month safety net. They're wrong. According to a new economic framework, the actual number required to prevent total societal collapse is $3,000 a month. UBI stands for Universal Basic Income, and UHI stands for Universal High Income. World-renowned billionaire and founder of the X Prize, Peter Diamandis, says it's going to be one of those two, either UHI or UBI. But he's wrong, because he says it's going to be so painful to get there. We're going to have to go through what he calls the great deflation in the economy, and also the great displacement, which is loss of jobs, or in kitchen table terms, the great economic death of the average American family's finances. Most people don't know this, but UBI and UHI are just another form of neoliberalism. The reason is because it's just another distractor and a form of trickle-down economics we were sold by Reagan and Thatcher as they dismantled our economies. Trickle-down economics said, give the corporations and the wealthy tons of tax write-offs, they'll reinvest it in the economy, and everyone's going to get rich, and all of us will make a lot more money. So the old term was, the rising tide lifts all boats. So the wealthy yachts go up and our little rowboats go up too, because they made so much money for us because we gave them tax write-offs and made them fabulously rich and wealthy. So UBI and UHI are the same idea. It's the carrot being dangled out in front of the public. If you'll just let us build these multi-trillion-dollar corporations and all these data centers, and if you'll let us do all these things and become fabulously rich, we'll sprinkle $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 on the high side to all of you, people out there, you peasants, and you'll get fabulously excited that you don't have to work. You can still make money and live a life of luxury and watch YouTube and Netflix all day. That's what they're proposing, and it's wrong. It ain't going to happen. So how did neoliberalism fail? Neoliberalism failed because it made corporations and the wealthy so powerfully rich that they got to play the game of Monopoly over and over again with more and more and more money, and we had less and less money. They shipped corporations overseas. They stripped out pension funds. They radically reduced their taxes, so the tax base went down. We got national debt. We had all these terrible problems. Jobs went away, just like they're going to now, with AI and the robots and everything else. The jobs went away and they were replaced with what? Delivering Pizza Hut instead of working at a steel factory? Oh, fantastic. My family's income crashed through the floor. I got a divorce and now I'm angry and I have no power economically like I used to have when America was great. So when they say we're going to build these massive data centers and AI is going to run all these jobs and businesses and corporations and take over the world essentially financially. When all that happens, they're going to become trillionaires and you're going to get $1,000 a month, maybe. But it ain't going to happen. And let me tell you why. The reason it's not going to happen is for the same reason that neoliberalism doesn't work. They wanted to keep all the money. They have, offshore accounts, family investment houses. They have huge tax cuts for themselves and keep voting in more and more tax cuts. They take the money offshore. Billionaires buy yachts, depreciate them, and then sink them for the insurance money. The scams are just endless. They've been doing this for decades, building up more and more and more legal and corporate ways of saving their money and making their money. And sometimes they even make billions of dollars and have that as income and assets, and they pay next to no taxes. They figured out how to do this. Now they're dangling $1,000 in front of us to take our jobs away. Give me a break. It ain't going to happen. They're going to keep the money, and they're going to give you as little as possible. And as it said, they want to give you as little as possible to prevent complete social breakdown and economic collapse. Complete? So they're willing for partial. They'll give you $1,000 or $3,000 to have some partial breakdown. That's okay. It's your life. Who cares? It's not them, right? We're non-player characters. We're the ones who will suffer what we must, and they will do what they can. They intend to use this to run the table on your economy, on your life, on your bank account, disrupt the entire country. As it was just said, up to 40%. Goldman Sachs said up to 40% of jobs could go away in the next decade. And they're going to make the profits from turning those jobs into AI and robots. And we're going to have to just go suck eggs. Here's the knockout punch, hammer strike from Peter Diamandis that he had in there. And a lot of people missed it. It says, here it is. The economic literature on prolonged unemployment is unambiguous. It does not merely reduce income, it destroys identity, erodes mental health, it generates political radicalization. A generation without economic footing is a generation without a stake in the stability of the system. That's what happened to America with neoliberalism. That's what happened to Great Britain with neoliberalism. And that's what they're going to do again. And we're going to get hit with a final strike here. We're down and they're going to kick us while we're down. And that's Peter Diamandis says it. He knows it's going to happen. And he's hoping that we'll all stay in the game together to get through this valley of death so we don't rebel and say we don't want this and change the game before they can get their trillions. I'm sharing this information with you so you can understand what's going on, so you can see the bigger picture, so you can see behind the screen at what they're doing, so that you have the information you need to make the best decisions for you, your family, your life, your economics. We're going to keep making videos about this. In fact, the next video is going to be about what Eric Schmidt, CEO of Google, had to say that blew me away. And I can't wait to make this video for you next. So I don't know what's actually going to happen because we still have choice. We still have personal power. We still have agency. We can still vote. We can still make a difference in our own lives and the lives of all of our fellow Americans and friends around the world. Here's the fact. We are probably going to go through the great deflation and the great displacement. And who knows if we're going to get an additional neoliberal face punch from all of this. And we're going to have the social disruption that Peter Diamandis wants to avoid by giving us $1,000. The fact of the matter is that we are right now in a place where we still have time, we still have agency. We have to feed our minds. We have to learn how to change our mind and stay with the flow. I make these videos for you for that reason. I've also made a guide down below. There's a link. It's called Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. And the whole idea here is that we have to think differently than we've thought in the past if we want to have a different future, a future that's different than the one they're creating for us. Download the guide. Read it, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you want to hear, what you want to learn more about in this whole big area of AI and what they're doing to our economy.